Well, the majority of the foreigners doesn't make the link between USA and Brazil and how these two countries are similar, because they look a lot to the economy, and as Brazil is poor, it's very different from USA, but it's not the case, okay? The two countries are very similar. In this video I will bring you 7 cities that are very similar to the US, are like Brazilian versions of US, and the two countries has a lot in common, okay? And you see this in this video. Before talking about the cities, let's remember that Brazil, as US, has a vast territory, a very huge territory, okay? The population is very similar to Brazil, has kind of 250 million people. US has a little bit above 300 million people, okay? And both territories are very vast, very big, with a lot of regional difference, okay? And practically the same things we have in Brazil, we have in the US too. A lot of diversity in natural landscapes, in climate, in people, in kinds of city, styles of city, okay? So let's start here and dive deep in these 7 cities, these 7 amazing cities. Well, if you like New York, let's start for the first one, okay? We have a very similar city here in Brazil, very similar to New York, that is Brazilian version of New York, that is São Paulo. Okay, São Paulo is the main capital in Latin America, with the hugest population in Latin America and the hugest amount of cash flow, of money, of richness in all Latin America. So you will find in São Paulo a very dense, a very huge city, okay, very similar to New York, with a lot of business going on there and a lot of options to do, okay? You will never be without options to do, okay? But you will have a lot of problems we have in big cities, like the crime rates, okay? Many times you see the pollution, okay, the traffic jam, okay? But if you want to do business in Brazil, there is not a better place here in Brazil to do business than São Paulo, because there we have the focus in terms of GDP per capita and wealth creation. The main companies are there, okay? So if you have like entrepreneur spirit, okay, go there and you'll find not only pollution and bad things, but you'll find a lot of nice things there to do, including a lot of parks, okay? Very beautiful parks like Ibirapuera's Park, that is one of the largest parks in Latin America. Let's go to the second city that is very similar to Texas in United States, okay? That is Goiânia, okay? Goiânia is a capital, is the capital of the Goiás state, okay? It's located at the central region of Brazil, and it's a very nice place to live, okay? It's one of the best places, okay, by the way, to live here in Brazil, because it's well developed, okay? The cost of living is not so high as São Paulo, okay? And you can find a lot of things to do. And there is not a lot of pollution, as we see, traffic jam and these kinds of problems. And there is a lot of cowboys there and farming, okay, as we see in Texas, United States, okay? And it's pretty well developed too. The capital is pretty well developed and has a good quality of life and not high crime rates, okay, as we see in São Paulo and Northeast capitals. Let's go straight to the third position here, the third city here, that is very similar to Miami, okay? That is Rio de Janeiro, okay? And I could say my city too, here, Fortaleza, that is in the Northeast Brazil, okay? As Miami, you will find a city with beach, okay? With a hot climate, okay? Generally, Rio de Janeiro, it's a little bit colder because we have the 4 seasons there, basically, but it's a lot hot too. Majority of the year it's hot in Rio de Janeiro, but here in Fortaleza, if you really like hot climate, here is hot the whole year, okay? And Fortaleza is a little bit smaller than Rio de Janeiro, okay? Actually a lot smaller than Rio de Janeiro, okay? And you can choose if you don't like a so huge city. Rio de Janeiro is huge, very huge, It's like a mix with São Paulo and Miami, okay, Rio de Janeiro. And Fortaleza here is a lot smaller, okay, but we have a lot of beach, very beautiful landscapes here, and it's a beach city with people not dressed with a lot of clothes, okay, because the climate here is very hot. And the cost of living here in Fortaleza is a lot lower than Rio de Janeiro, mainly on rents, okay. Maybe if you go to the supermarket, there is not a lot of difference, but when we talk about rents, okay, really here Fortaleza, it's a lot more cheap. But the city is very similar to Miami, okay? Now let's go to the fourth city here that is very similar to Hawaii in United States, that is Fernando de Noronha. It's an island here as Hawaii, okay, here in Brazil. It's in the northeast Brazil, okay, and well, very similar, very expensive there as Hawaii, okay, and it's a very touristic region, okay, that's why it's so expensive, and has absolutely amazing landscapes there as Hawaii, okay. We have a lot of surfing there as we have in Hawaii, okay, but I think Hawaii has bigger waves than Fernando Noronha, but Fernando Noronha has big waves too, okay? But I think the two are very similar, okay? Let's go to the fifth city here, very similar to Washington, D.C., where we have in United States the center of the government and bureaucracy, things like this. We have here in Brazil, Brasília, that is a city where we concentrate the Brazilian state, the bureaucracy, the politicians, okay? So it's a very well planned city. It was planned to host the bureaucracy here in Brazil, the politicians, okay? So this city has a shape of an airplane, okay? When we have regions specifically for residential, commercial, okay? So it's very, very well organized and high quality of living city, okay? But the rents there are not cheap, okay? The cost of living there actually are a lot higher, a lot higher than Fortaleza here, where I live, and could be similar to São Paulo, things like this, okay? But we have low criminal rates there and a high quality of life there. Let's compare now two very similar, not so similar in relation to the climate, but to be very close to nature. That is in United States is Alaska, okay? It's very north of the United States, and here at the very north of Brazil we have Manaus, okay? Manaus is the capital of Amazonas state here in Brazil, and it's inside the Amazonian rainforest, okay, the largest rainforest in the world, okay. So in Manaus is a very hot and humid climate, okay, and you'll be very near to this nature, this forest. So if you like forest, if you like snakes, tigers, and crocodiles, okay, you will love Manaus. And that's it. Let's go to the seventh place, okay? That is very similar to Los Angeles in United States. That is Florianopolis here in Santa Catarina state. It's located at the southeast Brazil, okay? And as Los Angeles in United States, Florianopolis is one of the best cities in Brazil to live, okay, because it's very touristic. We have beaches in the city. People there are not so hot, maybe as we see in São Paulo, in Rio de Janeiro, and here in Fortaleza, okay, they are a little bit colder, people there. And the climate there is kind of well distributed with 4 seasons, very similar we see in United States. Let me say like this, we have winter, summer, all the seasons, okay? And it's well known by its beautiful landscapes and high quality of life with relatively low crime rates, and the rents there are not that expensive, okay? As we see in Brasília and São Paulo. But you doesn't have hot beaches as you have here in the northeast, okay? So in this video I've brought you all a menu of options in terms of cities in Brazil that can be very similar to the United States. I hope you can find really good interests here, and put in the comments what cities you would like to know better here in Brazil that you like me to bring to you, okay? That's it. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.